moving on into our dynamic portion of the warm-up. Normally, we're gonna try to get our athletes to go from the orange to the green cone, and that's gonna be a 10-yard segment, but sometimes, just depending on what the continuing athletes are doing, that's just not possible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just find a nice available 10-yard segment, and that might be from the foam rollers to the orange cone or somewhere else on the turf. So our first exercise is gonna be a knee hug. So here, we're gonna stay up nice and tall. I'm gonna pull my knee to my chest and then step right into my next rep, going forward to that final cone. After we finish up with the knee hugs, we're gonna go with the quad pull. So here, I wanna pull my knee, or I wanna pull my heel towards my bum, and I wanna pull my knee behind my body as I get a little lean forward, and then step. Finally, we're gonna go into our leg cradles. So I'm gonna go underneath my knee on top of my shin. Now watch, athletes are gonna try to grab from their ankle, but the ankle bends, the shin doesn't. We're gonna try to pull from there so I get a nice stretch in my glutes. Now all three of those, we're trying to work on balance, so it's important that we go slow, we get lots of repetitions, and then we're trying to get as tall as possible throughout all three of those. Once we finish with that, we may actually have our marches. So with our marches there, that was our switch that we did in the first video, but if we've already accomplished that, we don't have to worry about that. We are, however, gonna go to our mini bands. We're gonna take our mini bands, and I'm gonna ask the athletes in cycle 1 to put them above the knees. So here, a tip, the flatter the band is, the less it's gonna pull on leg hair and be uncomfortable and pinch. So you wanna try to get it as flat as possible. Sometimes we'll have to use a longer band for other athletes, but again, just like our hip flexions, the first time we get our band, we wanna be maybe a little bit conservative and make it too easy. Some athletes might not actually even use a band, and then with experience working with the athletes, you're gonna know which band they're gonna use. But here I wanna have them in an athletic position. I'm gonna push with my trailing leg and lead with my front leg. Okay, so we're gonna go 10 yards. It's important that they're not bouncing, all right? And I also don't want them to lift their hip in the direction they're going first. Everything should stay nice and level here. Okay, so again, staying low, push, step, staying low and level. Next we have karaoke. So with karaoke, we're gonna try to create some hip separation from our upper body. So here, what I'm gonna do is try to get as many reps as possible, stepping over, stepping behind, while I throw my front elbow towards the camera. Again, you're gonna try to see their hips. Like I like to say, I have a flashlight on each of my hip bones, and that flashlight is going all over the place as I do my karaoke. Next, we have our lateral bound to stick. So here we're gonna see our athlete actually break for the first time. So we're gonna go from our one leg, jump in the direction we're going, and stick the landing. Same thing, jump, stick the landing. We're gonna go for 10 yards, and then back. We wanna make sure that they're not landing too stiff and falling over. I would rather the athlete land comfortably and controlled than go for a lot of distance with each push, okay? We're trying to learn the breaks here. After we finish up with that, we're gonna work on probably our most difficult exercise so far, which is going to be the crossover to stick. So we try to cue this up the same every time we sit in our athletic position. We're gonna shift the direction we're going. Notice how my shins went with me. Most of my pressure is here because I'm gonna drive over with that knee, under with that foot, take off with 2 feet, land with 2 feet. So hit, sit, shift, jump, stick, sit, shift, jump, and stick. You're looking for their hips, just like the karaoke, to turn in the direction we're going. And same thing, coming back. We're gonna finish it up here with the back pedal. So with back pedal, we like to say, sit low, keep your eyes forward, and try to push the turf towards the direction you're coming from. So I stay low and I push.